I was wanting to figure out how to do this, and we've worked pretty closely together. I guess, how does it feel through even just this last couple of years to be here today? You know, what you're not going to get an opportunity to talk because you're not a member of the committee today, but I guess, do you want to just give us a 3 seconds of how you're feeling to finally be at this point? And I just want to acknowledge all our work together on this, and thank you for the advice as well.
Kia ora, Chair Hills. I appreciate the opportunity. I guess I don't know until I understand the decision today, but assuming that the decision is one that we like, then I would say it's been an absolute privilege to represent my iwi, to bring this forward to this table, and I thank yourself in particular, and again, council staff, councillors, and my fellow member tau henare on this committee. I would say over time, I hope my forehead, the fractures in it heal from banging my head against the wall for over a decade. But this is, I'm sure, a really, really good day for us. But I'm really focused on the mahi ahead as well, as I always am. But this is a good day. This will be a good day. So kia ora.
Kia ora. Thanks, Ed. Right, we will just thank everyone. Oh, Nick, did you have?
If I may, through the chair, I just want to acknowledge the hard work that Michelle has put into this over the last year.
Yeah.
As well as me, no, just kidding. As well as a number of other staff and teams all around Auckland Council. It's really been truly a team effort, so I just wanted to acknowledge their mahi.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say it in my speaking turn, but Michelle, but all the team behind this, the complexities, also taking my calls on the weekends and even last night at about 7:30. Michelle, just to make sure we had the right advice, the right understanding, and making sure that when we were speaking in public or to media that we had all the right things there. So just want to acknowledge the careful way you've helped all of us get through this process so far. So kia ora. And we're going to just take a 5-minute. Oh, sorry, Councillor Bali.
Oh, no, it's okay. I thought you were going to take a longer break, but I was just going to say, can we just get on with it rather than wait?
I was just making sure no one was going to have to leave to go to the bathroom, but if you want to
Who needs to go to the bathroom?
Let's go. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. We'll just go. I'll just get our folks to step back from the table so we don't debate through you, and we will. I know that Councillor Henderson would like to kick off the debate, so hands up if you would like to speak as well. So, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. It's a real honour to kick off this debate as the mover. Just join the chorus of people acknowledging Te Kaurau Maki, and it's so great to see all of you coming in today. Can be a long way from West Auckland, I know that very well, so it's just great to see you all here, and just acknowledge as well that you're carrying your tupuna with you, both physically in terms of portraits, but spiritually as well. And so it's a very special day, and yeah, just like Glenn did as well, I just want to acknowledge all those that have passed. Papa George, who we acknowledged in this chamber a few months ago, beloved kaumātua that cared deeply for his people, spent his life helping them, and acknowledge his daughter Robin here and her whānau who have furthered that legacy as well. And once again, look, ngā mihi to everyone that has come here today. There's a lot of you. It's a historic day for Waitakere, and for me, I'm kind of feeling a bit overwhelmed with the gravitas of it, so I hope I make sense. But look, it's a real honour to be a part of this and this special day. And coming to the item, I want to lead with a whakatauki a friend graciously gave me in advance of this meeting, which is Nā tō raudo, naku te raudo, ka ora ai te hapori. With your food basket and my food basket, the community will thrive. This process to me is about input from different groups, different people around the table, which is essential for good decision making. We cannot say, West Aucklanders cannot say that the current governance structure of the Waitakere Ranges works well for people. Anyone on the street would tell you that. Most Westies would agree. The Waitakere Ranges Local Board do a fantastic job, and they get all the information that they need to make some key decisions for the Rangers, but they don't have the power to do that because it's a regional asset, right? And on the flip side, be a regional asset, we have all the power to do that. But we're governing a city of 1.7 million people, and we don't hear very much about the issues facing the Waitakere Rangers at this table. And it's a frustration for Waitakere ward councillors that know this area needs special attention and deserves that. So we've got to do something else. That's my message to people that support it and people that were sceptical is, let's do something else and let's do something that works better for people. We need this advisory committee to give it the proper attention. And also, as I've mentioned, it's a forum for the public to get their needs met. It's a forum for Te Kawerau to meet with local boards and councillors, and it's a forum to make the governance of this area more compliant with Te Tiriti principles and the kaitiakitanga that Te Kawerau hold for that rohe. Through this process, I think we're doing a good thing for ordinary West Aucklanders on the street that want their rangers maintained and nurtured. The forum will be advisory. It's not going to usurp democratic principles. We've heard that, and it's in D as well. But I tell you all, and we've seen evidence of that today, when you get a bunch of West Aucklanders in the room, magic happens, and also that forum is going to demand the attention that this area actually deserves. It could actually be quite a powerful forum to deal with. I'm a little bit intimidated myself. But turning to the feedback, and look, I respect the feedback of everyone that took part in this process. There will be people out there that disagree with my kōrero on my vote today, and I would just encourage them to continue in partnership and enriching the Waitakere environment together, because we all have different knowledge and things that we can contribute there. And this will be a forum for everyone. The process was huge. There's a lot of engagement. I won't hear anything about it being rushed. Look, the Act was passed in 2008, for goodness sake. You know, it went all over this. You couldn't open a Facebook page in my community for months about this. It even went to Wellington, where several central government politicians decided it was their role to interfere in the decision-making of our home in Waitakere. And I would urge my colleagues here to listen to the clear views of West Aucklanders for how we should handle things in our own home. Don't let misinformation from outside influence your view. I do have to point out there was some attempt by opponents from outside the area, I believe, to draw a distinction in the Act between what the words must and will meant in the legislation. The word will, I believe, was deliberately chosen by people drafting that Heritage Area Act back in 2008. And, you know, it's the ordinary meaning, right? If I tell my wife I will pick up the kids, she's expecting me to actually do it. It's not an option, right? So we're going to do it. I don't have to say must, right? So anyway, look, I'm proud to say that West Aucklanders have shared their voice, shared their clear majority for the support for these resolutions today. I voted in their interests all the way through this process, and I'm very proud of that. I intend to support their view today. I want to close with another whakatauki that's very meaningful to me. My wife actually gave me this in preparation for today. Manaki whenua, manaki tangata, haere whakamua. Care for the land, care for the people, move forward. Let's pass this motion and move forward in the Waitakere Rangers. Ngā mihi ki a koutou.
Kia ora, Councillor Henderson. Next up we have Member Wilcox.
The role of Haukura Independent Māori Board is to advise Council and give recommendations on issues of significance to mana whenua and mātāwaka. Mana whenua have turned up today. Our recommendation is that you vote for the decision that is right up there on the board. This is not a 12 years of Ed's life. This is not 17 years of the Bill's life. This is something that's taken over 30 years to come to fruition, provided you vote for it. I think it's really important that you understand that when this Act came into being, and the purpose of this Act was not only about Waitakere and the Rangers, it was also about the loss of orchards that was occurring. It was also about the subdivision and fracturing of properties that were occurring in Waitakere. The Waitakere Council was totally in favour of this act. It really supported it. And so it would be wrong of us not to forget the legacy that was started in Waitakere Council regarding this process. I'd just like to remind you that on the 5th of February in 1840, Hobson was given the hurry up to produce a document for the chiefs that were assembled in Waitangi. He presented that on the 6th of February, and by the end of the day, the treaty had been signed. Kawerau Maki have worked on this for 12 years. They've presented drafts and kaupapa that would ensure that this kaupapa happened for over 12 years, as Ed said. I think they deserve the right to have your answer in the affirmative. And so for that, the advice and recommendation of Haukura IMSB is that you vote for the recommendations that are placed before you. E tautoko ana te Independent Māori Board I te kaupapa nei. They've turned up, it's our right. Council can make as many committees as it likes, but this is the way that Kawerau Maki want to be engaged. E mihi ana ki a tātou, kia ora mai tātou.
Kia ora, Member Wilcox, and it's nice to see you around this table, so kia ora. Member Henare. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hoi anō, e aku rangatira, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou a koutou hare mai i tēnei rā. I te tautoko mō tō kaupapa. Mō te kaupapa i whakakotahi te iwi me te krauni hira i runga i ngā Rangers. Nō reira, ngā mihi nunuri kia koutou. I have a confession, and it's not often that I give a public confession, let alone a private confession. On, I think it was the 12th of March 2008, somebody stood up and said, we don't need this bill. This bill could be looked after by the what was known as the annual plan. Silly man. That man was me. And so I'm using this opportunity to say sorry to those people who brought the bill forward. Lynn Pillay is a name that should be remembered in this kōrero. What is good about it is that I was wrong because the annual plan wouldn't have done what this does. This does. The annual plan on its own wouldn't do it. How people get together and work together for a common view is what counts. And now we have the opportunity that Kawerau Maki, the council, and some parts the Crown can move on. It doesn't affect private property, and it was always a dog whistle politics issue. There are some people in this room continue to trot out. It wasn't about co-governance, which is another dog whistle political issue that people like to trot out and have no understanding of what actually co-governance is all about. 3, this year And in fact, for the last 18 months, Māori have taken 2 steps, 3 steps forward, only to be pushed back 4 or 5 steps. Continually, every week, there's a rear guard action by Māori, whether it be 6 words that appear in a ready reader for our kids, New Zealand's kids, not just my kids, but New Zealand's kids. Who's going to pay for it is another question. What this does is give effect to an agreement between Te Kawerau Maki and the Crown, because there were breaches along the way. That's why we have treaty settlements. Not to make it harder, but to recognise that there was a breach and that this is the way we think we can heal those wounds. I'm glad that the council has a council that I believe will vote yes for this. I'm glad about the council, for God's sake. I tell you what, when I got here with Haukura, IMSB, mate, they needed a whipping. But because of the us, them, the staff, have been able to work towards a common goal. The common goal is us. People who live in Tāmaki. Make it easier. Make it nicer. And this is what this bill is about. I'm not a bill, sorry, I thought I was in another place. This is what this is what it is about. It's about making sure that council and Te Kawerau Maki and Ngāti Whātua and anybody else who wants to put their hand up is a better place to live, and a better place for me, personally, to bring my mokos up. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Member Henare, and I did read your speeches back then as well. So. Councillor Turner.
Thank you very much. I too was someone who fought this Heritage Area Act, and I'm one of the people that Chair Preston speaks about who says it's not all bad now. As I've said before, my whole life exists inside the heritage area, and I have not experienced the dramatically bad things I thought might come from this act. I acknowledge everyone here, and I acknowledge the hard work that everyone's put in, and I acknowledge that Te Kawerau have made some compromises as we've discussed this matter over the last many months, and I thank you for that. I am sitting here representing the other people of Auckland who share the Waitakere Ranges and the heritage area with us all, 21,000 of them approximately. And I think I could speak for every one of them saying that they would all honour you with accepting this deed of acknowledgement, which I will, and I'm proud to do, but I will not accept at this point, Mr. Chair, C. I'm only saying that because I don't believe, and I've had limited time to work through lots and lots of legalities and council speak. I'm just not sure at this point that a committee with the terms of reference as outlaid here is the best thing that we can do for us all. I'm not saying that my mind's closed, I'm saying that it's open, but because this committee, as we've said before, is only saying yes to a deed of acknowledgement, C, which recommends we also establish a joint committee in accordance with the terms of reference that I've got here on the table in front of me, Mr. Chair, I will be asking for the items to be taken separately, and I'll be voting against C, but very pleased to vote for A. Thank you.
Kia ora, Councillor. Deputy Chair, Councillor Dalton.
Kia ora, Chair, thank you. Really, just want to acknowledge everybody, so it's a bit of a thank you. An honour to be in the room with all iwi that are here today. Kia ora tātou. Thank you for your leadership, Chair, and for always listening to Ed nagging and picking up the phone. Ned's relentlessness and his resilience to get this over the line. Thank you that you made this happen. Otherwise, we could still be wandering around into the next term. So I appreciate that. It is a historic day. And I don't want to, this needs to be really, really positive, but I'm following, just picking up on what Councillor Turner said when he said, I represent the other people. We have a D up there because of the other people. So we're not quite there yet. We're close, but we're not quite there yet. It's being able to vote something through, and it's not going to be unanimous on every point. I will vote for D, although I just think it's a shame. It's a shame that we have to have for the avoidance of doubt. When it's in the deed, it's in the legislation, we don't need to do this. But we will, because we want to get this over the line. Thank you to the local boards, all the local boards that have been working through this. Kia ora tātou for all the work that you've been doing. And really proud to be here today, feeling like something might have been achieved in my last term at council. But in all my time in local government, this is going to be up the top of one of the best things that has happened. So kia ora to everyone, my colleagues around the table that will be voting for this today. Thank you. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Deputy Chair, thank you. Councillor Leone.
What was that, Mayor of Auckland? Ai, ngā mihi nui, ngā rangatira o Te Kawerau Maki, me rangatira o mana whenua o Tamaki Makaurau. I just really want to mihi to you all for the last few months, weeks, that I've been watching all of the kōrero that's come through on media and know the struggles and the issues that you've all had to experience through getting the feedback. I know that that's probably been mentioned at other forums. I hope it has been acknowledged that as a city, I hope that we move forward and this becomes normalised in terms of working together with mana whenua, and having joint committees is a good thing for our city. We know that it's worked well already. It's been proven a number of times, all the positive feedback that has occurred across Tamaki Makaurau, and this is long overdue. I just really want to mihi to you all and know that as mana whenua as well here in Tamaki Makaurau, I look forward to actually seeing more of you sitting on this side of the table in the future. And being at the governance levels of all levels in our city, because that's where we should be. And we have all the skills to do that. But just coming back to the kaupapa, I'm sure today this is going to get across the line. Obviously, I'm supporting it wholeheartedly. And I know that in the future, as we go forward, we will look back at this historic day, and I do want to acknowledge the Chair and the Deputy Chair and all the mahi that's gone into this, because I know how difficult it is. To the other members that have been here from day one, and all of the mahi, obviously I haven't been here as long, I've only been here for one term, but I know that it's just becoming amazing to see that we can really push forward as a city and move past the rhetoric that we've had to live through for such a long time. So kia ora to you all, kia ora to all of the governance, people in leadership and governance roles across Tamaki Makaurau and West Auckland that have contributed this to make this happen today. And it's a historic day for our city. Kia ora.
Councillor Fully.
Kia ora, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou, acknowledging all of our mana whenua, all of our local boards and other leaders in the room today. Chair, at the start of this conversation, I jokingly said to Councillor Bartley that I perhaps ought to declare a conflict of interest as well, because, as you know, I'm Samoan, so my connection to mana whenua and Māori in general goes back to ancient times. My ancestors birthed kupe and sailed across the ocean to settle here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and that predates European settlement and title. Anyway, so Chair, I am going to support this wholeheartedly for many reasons, similar to others who've spoken before me. I just can't, you know, as a Samoan, I can't begin to understand and relate to what it must feel like to be separated from your ancestral lands. For us, in the same way as is for Māori, we belong to land. Land is not commodity to be bought and sold. It belongs to those who've come before us, to us today, and those who are yet to be born. And so I feel the trauma and the harm and the hurt that's been expressed today by all of our people who are here in the House today. And Chair, I acknowledge that this deed will go some small way of healing that trauma and of allowing all of us to heal and move forward. But I have to say, this is just a deed of acknowledgement. We're not talking about ownership. We're not talking about title. We're not talking about giving back land. We're not even talking about governance. Councillor Bartley and I were sitting here and we were just shaking our heads and saying, crumbs. We are talking about crumbs. Yeah. And it breaks my heart to see our kamatua, our whaia, sitting there with photos of their ancestors, arguing and hearing us argue about essentially crumbs. Mm-hmm. But I do acknowledge that this is a way forward. It is a small way to heal that injustice and acknowledge that injustice. And I look forward to the good work of the committee, working meaningfully with mana whenua, with us as council, with our staff and with DOC, to build something better for all of us, not just for Māori. The purpose of the Act talks about promoting the area, not just for Māori, but for all of us. And so today is a good day. Today is a historical day, and I'm trying not to get emotional, because when women get emotional, they get labelled in a certain way.
Especially if you're brown.
Especially if you're brown. But today I am an angry brown woman for those reasons, and I feel the weight of this decision on all of us today. So I tautoko, I support wholeheartedly the decision today. Kia ora. Thank you.
Kia ora, kia ora, Councillor. Councillor Ferry, online.
Kia ora, and apologies that I can't be there. I'm still at home with my beloved broken leg. So I wasn't going to speak on this, but I do want to, particularly because I'm not there, really acknowledge Te Kawerau Maki, the leadership that's been shown, the incredible patience that's been shown. And I remember when Ed first started raising this at what was then the PEP committee back at the start of the term, and I didn't really know much about it at all, was completely unaware as someone who'd come from local boardland, and it was my first term. And I remember our chair, Richard, picking up the wero, and I'm really proud of him today for seeing it through to this point. But acknowledging that it's well overdue, and that there is more to do. I wanted to pick up, though, on a couple of points that some of my colleagues have made. And I guess I'm a little disappointed that someone is considering not voting for C. And I wanted to explain that because the statement that we are elected or that someone around the table feels that they are elected to represent the other people of Tamaki Makaurau, we don't have Māori wards. So actually we're all here around the table. I'm around a different table, but metaphorically around the table. Sorry, I just realized I didn't have my camera on. We're all metaphorically around this table, elected by all of the people of Auckland, tangata whenua and tangata tiriti. I am not there solely elected by Pākehā or by tangata tiriti. I am there also voted for by tangata whenua. And so I don't see my role as just being to represent the other people of Tamaki Makaurau. I see our role around the table as representing all of the people of Tamaki Makaurau. And we've had a very clear message here from tangata whenua, both mana whenua and mata awaka, from the local boards, from almost all of the groups active in the Waitakere Ranges, that they strongly support the deed and that they want to see the establishment of a joint committee. And the difference between A and C, I think, is worth pointing out. A is buying the car. C is turning the key in the ignition or pushing the power button if you've got an EV, because you don't turn the key in the ignition generally. So it seems to me odd that we would want to buy the car, but then not drive it anywhere. And so I would encourage all of my colleagues to support all parts of this motion. There's been a lot of work to get to this stage. There's been a lot of discussions amongst us. We've had workshops, we've had drop-ins, we've had public consultation, and we still have one more step after this. We have a governing body vote as well. I'd also note what Councillor Henderson asked, I thought, a really pertinent question, which is this helping us to honour our commitment to te tiriti? Is this toi te tiriti? And the answer clearly was yes. And that is part of our role too, elected by all the people of Auckland, all the people of Tamaki Makaurau, not just tangata tiriti. And I would encourage everyone to vote for all of the clauses today. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Councillor. Thank you very much. I'd like to speak last if that's okay, but Councillor Filipaina is up next. Councillor Lee, do you want to go first?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and kia ora mai tātou, e ngā rangatira, e ngā iwi o Kaurau Maki. Ko tai mai nei, ki te kaupapa o te rā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Mr. Chairman, it is a notable day and a notable decision we are going to make, and that is to somewhat belatedly enact the requirement in the Waitakere Ranges Area Heritage Act in terms of a deed of acknowledgement. 17 years on, it's a bit late. However, that being said, the Crown, the key partner when it comes to treaty matters, have done this back in 2014 with the settlement with Kaurau Amaki, and the Crown acknowledged the long association with Te Kaurau, with the Rangers, with the area, under that settlement arrangement. And so we're just sort of joining in here, which is timely, well, over time and appropriate. In terms of acknowledging the particular historical, traditional, cultural and spiritual relationship of Te Kaurau Amaki with the Waitakere Heritage Area, this formalises something that the Council and its predecessors, particularly the Auckland Regional Council, has done in practical terms for many, many years. I can recall going back to 1992, focusing on the building and then the rather spectacular opening of the Arataki Visitor Centre, replete with all the wonderful carvings of Te Kaurau ancestors. I think it was attended by the Governor-General and other worthy people, including myself as a newbie in local government, as the Chair of Regional Parks, the Chairman of the ARC, the late Phil Warren, and of course Bob Harvey, Sir Bob as he is now, and Te Warana Taua. And so there's been a practical working relationship ever since that time in terms of the regional park, and I understand with the legacy Waitakere City Council, continuous. And there have been innumerable opportunities to contribute to the work of the council in this area continually, and the records will, including the financial records, will attest to that active, ongoing relationship. So this is just formalising something that is actually, in practical terms, long-standing, long before the Heritage Act, But still, it's appropriate if the legislation requires it, subject to consultation and agreement of the parties, that's important, that we do this, we ratify this. Now, my concern is, and I've already articulated, and here I join with Councillor Ken Turner, whose family have a long relationship with the Waitakere Rangers, and his father-in-law was essentially the founder of the regional park system as we know it. So the Turner family, and like many other Aucklanders, have a long association, cultural association, if you will, with the Waitakere Rangers. Peter Snell and Murray Holberg used to train with their revolutionary Arthur Lydiard style long distance training for middle distance, which won them numerous Olympic medals. Those are the sort of associations, and the Waitakere Rangers Regional Park has been the centre of that, and that's why I am disappointed that the regional park was not given the respect of even being named in the deed, or apart from one reference, which was all about the managers, not about the park. Okay, so I am happy to accept and support A and B. I cannot, like Councillor Turner, I cannot support C because I think the arrangements are not equitable and they're not fair. And until they are, I won't be supporting it. There are also lack of clarity in what this committee is. We heard a lot of talk, or a lot of discourse about co-governance from supporters and opponents leading up to this, and some expectation, and I'm sure that expectation is very strong about co-governance. That's something for the Crown to work out. However, the arrangements that the people of Auckland, the investment the people of Auckland have put into that regional park is not expressed fairly and equitably in the current arrangements of this it's a formal committee, but at the same time it's referred to as an advisory committee and it's been named as a forum. There's a lack of clarity around that. So for those reasons, Mr. Chair, I'll be supporting A and B, but not C. Thank you very much.
Kia ora, Councillor. Councillor Butley.
Okay. Kia ora, talofa lava. I wasn't going to speak, but my eye keeps twitching every time I hear certain people speak around this table. So I'm going to say something. I just want to know, what are you scared of? Nothing is being taken away from anyone by recognising tangata whenua and their ancestral connection to the land. And even then, the recognition here is in a very palatable format for those who are scared, by way of being a joint advisory panel. But this is what we have before us today. If I was going to vote against anything, it would be D, because you don't need it there. That's just kowtowing to the public rhetoric, or some public rhetoric there, which, God, we don't even want to go into. But for Te Kauro Amaki, you have my support and my vote. For the council, please, let's just get it done. Get it done.
Thank you, Councillor. Kia ora, Mayor Brown.
I want to be quick. I feature in there under B, and I'm quite happy to fulfil my role under B and sign this. And while everyone's going back for years and years, this takes me back to when I was last year at school, and I wrote Mum's car off on the terrible road out there coming back from surfing, and she hit me with a pan. I never thought, so many years later I'd be able to do something positive out there to pay it back. So I'm happy to be in B and do my bit.
Good. Cool. Before I close the debate, Councillor Filipino would like to speak now. Oh, sorry, Councillor.
I'll call it on now. E aku rauranga tira mā o ngā iwi o tāmaki mo kaurau. Kuia mā, koro mā, a tēnā koutou. Tēnā koe te rangatira e te wārena kawarawa, te kawarawa maki ngā mihi kia koutou, kia koe. I stand because this is significant. I have been around this table since 2010, and it's been a lonely Māori voice. I whakapapa to ngā puhi and also to Hāmoa. So it's been a lone voice. I'm going to sit down because then I just need to say a few more things before I end up saying what I need to say. So I want to mihi to Papa George. I've said what I said at his tangi at Makaurau. So I said what I needed to say, but I just want to acknowledge all our tupuna that are here, that have you brought, and then I bring it back to us, the living. Look, I have been around this table. I want to acknowledge Pippa Coombe, who I've seen earlier. I've acknowledged Sandra Coney, one of the OGs, the original gangsters in 2010. I also want to acknowledge Penny. She was, we referred ourselves as husband and wife at the Kaunihera. So Penny, I want to acknowledge you for all your work since 2010, and also the inaugural Deputy Mayor of the Kaunihera. So I mihi to you. This is significant. I've been around this table and seen co-governance come in. I've seen around this table, and interesting enough, I ended up doing a Google because AI apparently is quite good. But the Google was, what other significant events that we have had with Māori? The co-governance agreements that we've had, or maru, the joint management, pūkaki, Māori outcomes, marae infrastructure program. This is the biggest. This is what we need to end up putting through and agreeing with. I want to acknowledge the local board. You were clear and concise. You support this deed. You support the recommendations. I mihi to you. The interesting thing, when I go back to the agenda, there's 4 things. I'm just going to very quickly mention them. as to why this is important for us to end up agreeing with. And that's under the agenda number 4. And the key aspects include, and in particular, statement of the relationship Te Kawarau Amaki have with the heritage area, which has been independently reviewed by an external expert, an acknowledgement by the Council and Crown of that statement of relationship. Identification of the following opportunities for Te Kawarau Amaki to contribute to the management of the public land. That is joint development of a strategic plan for the heritage area, joint development of work programs to achieve the strategic plan outcomes, joint monitoring of strategic plan outcomes and of the heritage area to support the 5-yearly monitoring report required by the Act, a commitment to working together. That is clear and concise. You can't get any clearer. Tu a kai mahi, Michelle, to you, ngā mihi kia koutou katoa. Well done with the mahi that you have put into this. So I acknowledge you as well. I just heard a comment around that people have had a long association with Waitakere Rangers. I put down here, not as long as mana whenua, and that needs to be acknowledged and respected first and foremost. That's what needs to happen, first and foremost. Even though I've been here since 2010, I acknowledge those who have Māori whakapapa that have been with me on this Auckland Council journey, because this road is a long and lonely road. If you're only hawhakasi, albeit hawhakasi, Richard is hawhakasi, I acknowledge Corinne, Ngāti Paua, even acknowledge the first two that ended up on the council, and that was Jamie Lee Ross and Des Morrison. Ever since then, those are the only few people. My last comment, because I do acknowledge the bell. My last comment is this. One of the key things we did in August of 2020, when I chaired the Parks, Arts, Community and Events Committee, was put out there that we were going to review the Regional Parks Management Plan. It took us 2 years. As you know, one of the key regional parks in there is the Waitakere Rangers Regional Park, and we ended up putting that through in September of 2022. So I acknowledge it. Ngā mihi kia koutou katoa. Kia ora.
Councillor Walker. Kia ora, Councillor.
I'll be brief, Mr. Chair. There are 2 issues today. One is the deed, and I think the deed is the right thing to do, and I acknowledge Te Kawarau Maki. Having said that, the other element is the panel, and I have a number of issues around that. Fundamentally, my concerns are around accountability, responsibility, authority, and oversight, particularly in the situation where our council is the prime funder. On the part of all the ratepayers and residents in Tamaki Makaurau, I have some concerns. I've raised those. They go to the oversight and my concern around other forums that I've been involved with and have some experience, such as the Hauraki Golf Forum, which has had issues. So on that basis, I'll be voting against C, but in support of the others. Thank you.
Kia ora. Right. I don't think there are any other speakers. Yeah, well, kia ora. Thank you. I think it is a momentous day. I felt quite emotional coming here this morning, and then thankfully Penny Hulse walked through the door and surprised me and, hey, do you want to have a coffee and a chat? So that kind of helped to level my head again, to have my council, not your council wife, my council mum, here fortuitously on a day like this, so that was helpful, and acknowledge your work in this space for a long time, Penny. When this popped up, and I guess, speaking to Ed, and just want to acknowledge Ed, and I'm sure all of you know the work he does, but I don't know how he does it all, but he does do it all, and what an awesome man he is, speaking for you all and doing the right thing. On the day that this came, on the 1st of June 2023, the monitoring report got voted down, and you can't vote down a monitoring report. It was very much a head-scratching moment. It's a classic council moment, I guess, voting down a monitoring report. But Ed was taking a stand. Tau was taking a stand. Other people, we've been waiting for the deed. We've been waiting for the deed. You're going to get us to pass another monitoring report with no progress on the deed. And, I said to him, and this is a good learning of how to sometimes get things done too, is, well, how do we do that? And I said to staff, how do we do that? Surely we can just get a deed done. 28 days later, we had another meeting, and on that day, we unanimously moved to progress a deed. 28 days later, we came back around this table, passed the monitoring report unanimously, and passed progress on the deed. And within 2 years, I guess, it's still a long time, but this amazing staff working with Te Kaurau, making sure that everything was, T's crossed, I's dotted, was here to progress. It's probably not good to look back too much why it wasn't progressed in the 17 years before, but we are here, and I'm glad this last bit was fast, and I'm glad that not all of you had to continue to wait. To everyone who's been involved in that process, I think it's really positive. I only saw it as positive until, sadly, a lot of misinformation started coming out, and we saw those stories that probably made many of you feel whakamā, and explaining it to your kids and trying to understand why someone would be, or certain people would be, so angry at essentially just working together. It's kanohi ke te kanohi. That's all this is that people working together better, more effectively, to understand each other, to sit face to face. I think that is what my understanding of the treaty and understanding of our responsibility is, that we constantly improve things by working together. I am a little bit sad. I did add D after conversations with Councillor Turner yesterday, because he did mention there may be an amendment from himself and Councillor Lee on this. So I thought maybe if we add that D, we'll have this unanimous vote on all clauses. That may not happen today, but that's okay. I think we have a strong majority behind you all. I do want to talk what's behind me. The Waitakere Rangers you can't see, but thankfully to the Mayor and his team who put these pictures up, you can see Te Waha Nui or Tiriwa sort of behind us on those pictures, but if you can imagine if there were no windows and no buildings, we'd be looking over those Waitakeres today. And that's the important thing, that you have all your tupuna on your shoulders, but we have these amazing physical taonga that sit there and look at us from our building every day. And that's what this is about. Someone else said, this is about tile. This is about the environment. This is about protecting it for everyone and for the future. And when we talk about resources, whose resources going in? Well, of course it's council resources. We own the land. I guess if we were going to give it back, you'd be putting your own resources in. But, that's not the decision here today. But I will say resources, I think if we think of Pūtea, if we think of the Western Way, of course it's mostly council resources. But I see every time I've been into the ranges, every time I've been into the regional park, every time I've been there, I think most recently with Ed and the team, releasing kōkapu, 1,000 kōkapu into the Apahuia reaches there, one of the most amazing experiences of my life that I'll remember forever. There was all kauro there. They might not have been, I guess, I don't know if any Pūtea went in, but you have people investing their time, their whole energy every day to be the kaitiaki of that space. So it's not necessarily always money, budget. It's the time, the energy, the fact you all had to go through the Western process of doing consultation forms, which you probably thought, might have been the wrong thing to do and such an important thing. But, I just want to say today that we're moving forward to a beginning of a new way forward, I guess, and it is about that collaboration. I think hearing Mike talk about 1992, I think I was 5 years old then. I've got a son who's 4, and I hope that this decision today means that he can look back and go, I'm glad they made that decision. The Waitakaris are flourishing. The birds are coming back. The community has more access to it. You can touch the awa and swim in the awa and drink it if you chose. Well, we do, don't we? That's where our water comes from. I just want to thank everyone again. This has been a hard time, but I want to acknowledge the Mayor and the Council, Phil Wilson. I said pretty clearly when the attacks on Māori kept coming through policy, through a lot of things we've seen the last 2 years, where will we stand? Where will we be recognised? The Mayor, councillors, our Chief Executive, Nick, others said we are strong on our Māori outcomes. In fact, we increased the budget through the LTP for Māori outcomes for the first time in a long time. And we've ensured that we keep to our obligations, we remain proud, we move forward on important pieces of legislation like this, important deeds together. And I'm really excited. I thought I'd be far more emotional, so I'm glad, because there'll be a few eye rolling if I started crying. But it's so important to me, but I have no idea how important this is to all of you and the feelings that you'll be feeling if you walk away from here and we support you today. So I just had one more whakatauki. Toitu te marae a tāne mahuta. Toitu te marae a Tangaroa. Toitu te tangata. If the land is well and the sea is well, the people will thrive. Toitu te tiriti. Kia ora everyone, and thank you, and I hope we all support this deed in the next 3 seconds. Kia ora.
Division Chair.
Councillor Henderson might want a slight right of reply.
Yeah, just a quick run of reply. I really hate to follow that beautiful kōrero. I'm really sorry about that, Chair. I just want to note calling a division on C because, look, we're very hungry, so I won't speak long, but I simply don't understand the opposition to it when it strengthens not just our treaty partnership, but also democratic engagement for ordinary West Aucklanders. I do not know why you would oppose that, but we'll find out when we put it to the vote, Chair. So I'll put a division on C, please.
Okay, so we'll move Olin. Okay. How do you want to do it?
We're doing it in parts, so we'll do A first.
Okay. Okay. All those in favour of A? Aye. Could I say that's unanimous? Anyone opposed? That's unanimous. Kia ora. The deed is agreed. So we're just getting the system working. B? All those in favour?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No, so carried unanimously. And C, we're going to do through a division. That means you'll hear all of our voices. Kia ora.
Thank you, members. You're voting on clause C separately. C. Chair Hulls.
Aye.
Hokora member Wilcox. Aye. Councillor Baker.
For.
Councillor Bartley.
For.
Mayor Brown. Yes. Deputy Chair Dalton.
For.
Councillor Darby.
For.
Councillor Ferry.
For.
Councillor Filipina.
Aye.
Councillor Fletcher.
For.
Councillor Foley.
Aye.
Hokora member Henare. Councillor Henderson.
Aye.
Councillor Lee. No. Councillor Leone.
Aye.
Councillor Newman.
For.
Councillor Sayers.
For.
Deputy Mayor Simpson. Councillor Stewart.
Against.
Councillor Turner.
Against.
Councillor Walker.
No.
Councillor Watson.
Against.
Okay, so that's carried.
That was carried 17 votes to 5. And all those in favour of D?
For.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Kia ora. Thank you. Unanimous as well. Right. I think, would anyone is, oh, hang on a second. We'll just turn the We'll just turn the mics on at the back, so...
It's a pity you don't have any knee surgeons here. Engari, ko tāku, on behalf of the Kawerau Maki, I wish to thank you, most of you, all, for your vote, and it's been a very, 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 very long time. So thank you very much. We're going to sing a song to thank you. We were going to sing Ngā Whakamoemiki, but I think there's enough of us here to do Uncle George and Auntie Rama's favourite song. Here too? Right, come on. Stay here. Don't be shy. Come closer, here. Kia tere. Time is important. Some of these are in their 80s. And some of them have been, a number of them have been trustees of the Kawerau Settlement Trust since its inception. And, right, ready? Ngā tai tamariki toru 5. Ngā tai tamariki o te motu e, haere mai ki ahau e. Nā te hotu e tama o te manawa, haere mai ki ahau e. Haere mai. Haere mai ia e ngā iwi ki runga o tamaki ki te hapai i ngā mahi ki a kaha ki a mau tonu e ki a kaha ki a mau tonu e wahaka mateka mo te kaurako wahaka mateka mo te kaurako te nei te tangata I thinking my waka we take tera upane we take tera. Thank you.
So we will break for lunch. Kia ora and thank you for that fantastic haka and waiata.